Hi, my name's Angel, and this is Angelik Arts. Today, I am so excited to be part of the Purple Pixie and Theresa B's Save Our Earth collab. This is using trash and recycling to help reduce the burden on the environment. So I started with a bag of junk mail that lives by my front door, and every time the junk mail comes in, it just goes straight in, ready to be taken to recycling. And some PVA glue from Poundland and a balloon, some bit of water, mix it up, tore this into strips, started preparing the balloon by brushing on some glue and sticking on some of the strips. I decided that the strips didn't work so well, so I started to rip it into smaller squares, and I very quickly gave up on using the brush and just got my fingers in there. And this is where I'm ripping into squares and dumping it into the liquid and just really going to town and having great fun putting it all together. I covered about the bottom half of the balloon and left it to dry. Well, here we are, we've left it to dry. It took 2 days. Carefully popped the balloon, cut out the balloon from inside the bowl, and just gently pulled it off. Then a very wobbly bowl, and I've got these 2 plates left over from my son's 13th birthday this year, and a Pizza Hut menu. And now I'm going to use this to hold snacks. Because it's used PVA glue and hot glue and in a minute Mod Podge, I wouldn't recommend putting bare food in it, but it'd be nice to put on a table and put some packets of crisps or popcorn in packets or wrapped sweets in. And I just really loved the idea of this bowl that was for snacks being advertising junk food. So I've ripped the Pizza Hut menu into bits and I'm just Mod Podging it onto the plate. Not really trying to be particularly tidy about it. The whole point is that it looks kind of scrappy. And when I first moved out of home and I had my own little flat and I didn't have any plates or bowls, I really wished that I'd have thought of this back then, because this would have been so easy. All it would have cost me was the glue, and then all the rest I could have just done with the newspapers that came through the door. Obviously, it wouldn't have been any good for naked foods, but still, nonetheless, it was fun. And I kind of think it's really cute. It's just colourful and bright, and you'll see on the reveal where I've put the packets of crisps in it. It's just kind of just cute. I love it. Now, this is our first host, the Purple Pixie. Crystal does some incredible crafts, and she's been kind enough to invite us to do this. And she's hosting a giveaway with more details about that later on. But for now, on to DIY 2. Now, this one was great fun. I took the bottom of the drawer that I used in my last video, some Mod Podge. This is my drawer for scraps for yellows and golds. And yes, I do have a drawer for each of the colours. But it's useful to have all these little scraps. And you can see some of them are full sheets of A5, some of them are little bits. So I took my Mod Podge, laid down a thick layer of the Mod Podge, grabbed a piece of paper, laid it down on top of the Mod Podge, and then covered it up. Repeated the process all across the bottom. Then I took my blue scraps drawer, pulled out some bits of paper to use for sky and sea, and I thought that this paper was kind of a nice watery tealy colour, But really, I regret that I did these pieces so big. You'll see in a minute, I decided to sort of start tearing them up smaller, and the smaller pieces were actually more effective, I thought. This is handmade sort of tissue paper. It's got these gorgeous black and white line details on the I sort of thought looked like ripples and reflections on the water. There you go. I tried to show off a little bit there. I know at the moment this looks like such a mess. I'm using this darker blue to create my horizon line. It was pre-used. I think it was my friend's daughter came over and we had a tea party and she made me some bits. We just had a crafty day and it was great fun, but now reusing the bits and bobs that she decided she didn't like. So I was like, yes, I really like this colour. It kind of looks almost like it's got a cloudy tint to it, but it would only cover up this one corner. So if I start breaking it down into small pieces, and so then I'm mixing the two colours, which I think actually just worked. It looks kind of like there's clouds and shadows of things scuttling across the sky. So more of that handmade paper. And I've taken a couple of sheets of it from each coloured drawer. And then I was just cutting out this rectangle shape, which then I decided was too big. I decided to cut them. So I've got all colours of the rainbow there. And then I decided that actually I just wanted to do the purples and blues because they're my favourites. And yes, I realise I've just put that beach hut right in the house in the sea, but then I didn't put it down on the beach. I've taken this sort of duochrome orange to cut into triangles to make a roof. And I've got this really pretty black and white that I use triangles to make the roofs for the blue ones. Then I thought I'd get a little bit old school, seeing as I was doing it like a child, and I got my Sizzix Sizzlets out. And I found a few that were related to being the beach. Here's my little Sizzix sidekick that I actually bought for myself as a treat for my 25th or 26th birthday. Then I decided to cut out a beach chair and a beach umbrella. Had a moment where I was like, I can't remember how to use this, and then just twisted it round. Gosh, I really miss the days where I used this all the time. But you can see how dusty it was. There's the chair, there's the umbrella. And again, just taking Mod Podge, like trying them out, seeing where I liked it. Laid down a big swatch of Mod Podge. The brilliant thing, of course, because it dries clear and glossy, it just doesn't matter about being precise or neat. Then I took this old flannel, 100% polyester face cloth thing, cut out some wiggly shapes that I thought could look a bit like clouds, laid down more Mod Podge, drowned the fabric in Mod Podge so that it was going to dry stiff and not curl up at the corners. I didn't like it at first, so I thought I'd draw some birds. Maybe the sky just looked too blank. Then I took this really pretty glittery chevron printed card, cut out some smaller rectangles to use as doors, laid down more Mod Podge. Now you're about to see a finger flash into the corner with black nail varnish on. This is my son's girlfriend, Chloe, who is an artist, so I was asking her opinion. She realised that she was on camera, so she gave us a little wave. She said maybe if I put a third cloud on and filled up the space, it would look better, and I have to agree. And then we've got these little turtle beads, which I bought actually for Chloe because she really likes sea creatures. Turtles and orcas are her favourites. And then I tried to decide if I want it with or without a frame. Decided with a frame was good. Measured it. Then took it to coffee stain. So really, really hot boiling water. Now, my coffee has been in the pantry. I gave it up when I finished my degree in 2012. But this has been sat in the cupboard ever since, so it was a bit stale, but actually it worked really well. I just dumped a ton of it in the really, really hot water, put them in overnight, left them out. No, I left them in for an hour and then dried them overnight. Here I'm just measuring them back around the picture, then remove the picture and glue them together with the super glue. I wish I'd actually bought some wood glue, but I didn't have any, so super glue is what I had on hand. Just joined them all together in a rectangle, honestly. What other shape would do? So that they would be big enough to go around my picture. And I was like really freaking out at this point because every time I tried to move it, it would just fall apart, and I was like, oh my gosh, the glue is just not ever going to hold. But actually, it was all right. I stuck it all together in the rectangle in the shape that I wanted, including the little bits I'd had to cut to make it the right size. Joined it all together, left it overnight, and actually in the morning it was quite sturdy. So here we are the next morning. You can see it's quite sturdy. Measuring it, and I saw it could just, so I took some lolly sticks, cut them in half with my miter shears. Do you know what? I really love these. I've not had them very long, but I'm really actually enjoying how easy they're making everything. And then I braced the corners. Glue wasn't quite coming through. I've only got 5 of these glitter glue sticks left now, guys. And then I'll be going to the normal white glue, or the clear glue. So brace the corners with these half jumbo lolly sticks. Hot glued the corner braces, which turned out to be exactly, of course it turned out to be. I knew it would be. I measured it. And then I had to restick the turtle on because I'd actually drilled some holes, which you're actually going to see me do in a moment. So I've got these lights that I bought for myself that I had over my headboard, and this is Thor. She is the goddess of distraction. Right, so anyway, I've got these lights. The wire heart frames on them are breaking, and I thought it would be cute to put them between in the house for like the windows. Yeah, so Thor is just loving on everything. So this is me drilling them. I actually found the correct size for drill bit by putting the lights in the box that they drill bits came in, and when it was the one that was slightly snug fit, that was the one that I knew. And then I found that this was the only place where it hadn't stuck, so I'm reinforcing all the joins with a little bit of hot glue. See, the back of this is something of a mess, but it's going to be a standing art piece now, just pushing it in. And then I thought, oh, I know, I want it to stand, I don't want to hang. Let's stick some. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, because I didn't, but this is actually the top of the picture, because I flipped it over the other way. So now I'm like, oops, peel it off, stick it on the bottom, hot glue, et voila, a stand. Now let's talk about the co-host, Theresa B. DIY. Theresa has been crafting for the brave all month and raising money for Fisher House, details of which you can find on her page and on most of her videos from this month. Also, there's a giveaway over on the hosts' channels. All you have to do is subscribe to them both, like and comment on these videos in this playlist. Their videos in this playlist. And on to the final DIY. This one was just a really, really simple hair tie storage, because Thor, as you saw, likes to get in the way and get involved with stuff. She really likes hair ties. So I used to have them all in a nice little open tin so I could just grab them whenever. But now I need them closed off, so I've decided to use this old mustard jar, which, was washed and cleaned, label removed. I wish I'd Mod Podged this circle of paper onto the lid rather than sticky taping it, but I was getting short on time and didn't have time to wait for it to dry. So I glued this bead on the top, decided I didn't like being able to see the black of the lid, took this purple string and sort of tried to wrap it around. There are lots of spots where the glue showed through. I think it'll be better once I've got the clear glue, but for now I actually kind of liked it. The purple, there's sort of duochrome blue, teal, green shifts in the paper on the lid. It looks deliberate. And hey, let's say it's shabby chic and was deliberate. It's kind of, I don't know, it gives me mermaidy vibes with the purple and the green. And I just actually really here for it. And it was that simple. I decorated the lid, wrapped a ribbon around the neck of the jar to give it a little bit more interest, and tied a bow and cut off the ends, burnt the ends so they didn't fray. The same with the ribbon around thing, filled it up with some hair ties and hair clips, and then just popped it on. Then decided it was still a little bit plain because, you know, it's kind of fancy. So I just took a line of sticky purple gems and stuck them down the front, the centre of the bow, and then another line at the back, which I then straightened up. And then that was that. And that's it. Now do hold on, because we've got a few seconds of extra Thor loving times popping up just after the end screen here.